Okay, Google, stop the music. Stop the music. What up, family? Welcome to the Living For You YouTube channel. I am Dr. Larry Smith. How are you doing today? What's up, my family? It's your favorite brother, your favorite cousin, your favorite uncle, your favorite father, your favorite friend, your best friend's best friend. It is me, Dr. Larry. Welcome to Living For You YouTube channel. You know, when we come here and we relax and we chill and we grow, we get to know one another and we discuss and become better people mentally, physically, spiritually, all well-rounded. I'd like to say welcome to all of you. Thank you for coming. Once again, I'd like to say thank you to my subscribers for the 1,000 subscriptions, and we look for more. I'd like to thank you all for being here quite regularly, coming here twice a week, working together, coming to this table that is laid out for everyone. And I'd like to say welcome to the new people. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that notification bell when I post new stuff. And I need you to also go out and follow on social media. I am at Dr. Larry Smith on Instagram. I am at Dr. Larry Smith on Facebook, on TikTok. I'm in a bunch of places. So connect. Let's connect. Let's grow. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you all for being here. You know what? You guys look good. I was wondering how you guys were doing, but then I'm looking and I'm seeing how great you guys look. And if that is any indication as to how you are doing, then you guys are doing A-okay, because you look wonderful, magnificent, exquisite. You know, if you don't already know, if you are somewhere under a rock and you're not really paying attention to what's going on, guess what? It's Gemini season! Of course, I'm going to say it again because you guys know I'm going to put some crazy text and blinging thing that's just going to just be kind of weird and cool and annoying and fabulous at the same time. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, it is Gemini. Why is that so crazy? I don't know. But it's Gemini season, right? It's my season. If you've been living under a rock, like I said before, I, Dr. Larry Smith, am a Gemini. Yep. Can't believe it. I'm a Gemini. It's the season of my birthday. You know, in fact, if you really want to know, my birthday is May 26th. So it's not that far off. Yes, May 26th is my birthday. And I am a Gemini. Like everyone else, because of what we are going through at the present moment, I'm going to be having a quarantined birthday, a birthday at home, a birthday amongst just a small group of people. But guess what? That doesn't matter to me. I am excited about life. And the fact that I am living another year, I am seeing more time on this planet, I'm experiencing and embracing and loving when there are many people who don't, I am just happy. So quarantine or no quarantine, happy Gemini season. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm so happy. I'm so thankful to be giving another year. I think a lot of people are. Another thing you know about me is that I'm full of information and that I have many passions and many loves and things that I have interest into. So, you know, you guys know that I'm well knowledgeable about things like religion and spirituality and cosmology and history. But guess what? You may have already known this. I'm also pretty damn good at astrology. In fact, whenever I go to parties, I don't know why conversation always does that around me sometimes, around either spirituality, religion, politics, or astrology. I'm that person in the room. I'm that friend that tells everybody what are their specific traits about their sun sign. My sun sign is Gemini. And now I usually say, oh, you're a Scorpio, or you're a Pisces, or you're a Leo. Here's what I know about you. And then they usually say, oh, wow. How did you know that? How did you know all those things? Well, I come from a family where I have an auntie, and my mom was into astrology somewhat. My mom's religion kind of didn't allow her to go too deep, but my auntie is really deep, and she would send books and emails and information about it. And my personal investigations and research for many, many years, you're talking 20 plus years, of just reading different things from different sources and different books and studying things myself. In fact, low-key secret, whenever I get into relationships, one of the first things I ask as a kind of a sly conversation is, when were you born? Or what's your sign? And that's just my way of trying to understand. Now, granted, you can never get 100% of a person from their sun sign. There are many other things in the chart, like the moon sign, the Venus sign, and the Mercury sign, and their rising sign, like my rising is Aquarius, and all of these different things. And then there's also other historical backgrounds and what they've been through in their histories and their lives. So you can't just take a sun sign and determine what a person is completely. But it is fun to think about. And there is some merits of gauging some aspects of people's personality from their sun sign. So, like I've said before, I'm a Gemini, and it's Gemini season. I can do that forever. Like, it's just silly. I can do it forever. But anyway, so today, and this is something I haven't normally done, as you guys know, but because it's my birthday and it's my business, I'm going to talk about Gemini. I'm going to discuss Gemini, and I'm going to give a few examples of some Gemini men and some Gemini women, talk about some of the traits, and kind of talk about a little bit about how each person maybe represents the sign and kind of are a Gemini of Geminis and kind of a very representative of my sign, who we are. So anyway. Remember to subscribe, remember to follow on social media, Dr. Larry Smith, and just enjoy the video. So sit back, it's entertainment, it's fun. Normally we talk about heavy stuff sometimes we do coaching, but I also said we will have entertainment and we will have fun. So sit back, enjoy, get a laugh, a kiki, whatever you guys want to do. I am glad you all are here. So, Gemini is a mutable air sign, which means that we're kind of easy to be able to adapt to situations. Our sign is ruled by Mercury. If you know anything about Roman mythology, Mercury is really the same as Apollo, the messenger god, the communication god. So we're ruled by communication. Typically a Gemini, if you are engaging with one, we tend to be pretty good communicators. I think I'm a good communicator. I don't know. Maybe. But anyway, we generally are good communicators because we're the messenger gods, Mercury. If you are born from May 21st to June 20th, then you are a Gemini, my dear. Guess what? You're a Gemini. You're going to carry some of these traits. You're going to carry some of these negative and positive traits, and everybody will know around you a Gemini. In fact, 9 times out of 10, they will say, oh yeah, that person's a true Gemini. I don't know what it is about us, but it seems like we get the most shade and hatred towards us. But I assume that's just because we're the best. And I'm going to say that because I'm a Gemini. It is what it is. And it is Gemini season, but whatever. So, if you're born between May 21st and June 20th, you are a Gemini. Your sun sign is a Gemini. Like I said, there are many different things you can look at and see in character traits. I only picked out a few of them, but there are other ones. And like I said before, you can't use this one thing of like discussing a person's sun sign and thinking you got a person read completely, because we have histories, we have other signs like moon signs and all kinds of things and beliefs and whatever that create who we are. But these are just generalizations and things you can see and spot if you're a Gemini within yourself, or if you have a Gemini in your life, within them. Geminis, our strengths are we are nice and kind people, we are gentle, we are curious, we are adaptable, that's the mutable thing. We are full of ideas, full of life, communicative, and we learn things really, really quickly. Like, we're very, very spot on when it comes to learning things. And I actually have always had that trait. Even as a kid, I've always been one to pick up a book on judo, on dance, on music, on playing instruments, on singing, on learning a foreign language, and all kinds of things. And so, so I would read, and I would learn it, and I would just kind of pick it up. And then my thing as being a teacher, because I believe my spirit being who I am and my calling on this planet is to teach in some capacity, I would just take what I would learn and I would teach. And the kids in the neighborhood would come learn things from me, and I would have my little classroom with my little bulletin board and all my stuff up, and it was kind of crazy, but I've been a teacher since I was a toddler, it seems. But that's part of the Gemini thing. We learn really quickly, and for me, learning is teaching. That's just what I do. If I can learn it, if I can gain it for myself in a comfortable way, knowledge where I'm successful with it, I will always, 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 always pay it forward and give it back to somebody. But anyway, those are our positive traits. Now, our not so positive, i.e. negative traits, are that we are sometimes nervous, sometimes inconsistent, and we are sometimes indecisive as Geminis. And you've probably, if you are a Gemini, or if you're affiliated with a Gemini, you've probably either used that term or used some of those definitions about them, or you've probably had people say it about you if you're a Gemini. Now, here's the thing that I know about astrology in general. The negative traits are when a person is least likely living their truth or living in themselves, when they're not fully centered or when they're not mature. So like, for example, some of the things I just mentioned, you won't see in a more mature Gemini. For example, I'm not at all an inconsistent person. Now, if I say I'm going to do something, about 99.99%, no, 100% of the time, I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. Now, I might not always get it in the time frame, but I'm going to always check in and make sure I let you know that I'm still working on it and I'm intending on getting done what I said I'm going to get done. So it's kind of hard to find inconsistency with me. I have a line, and that probably relates to my moon sign and some other things there, but I'm not that inconsistent. I'm very, very evolved in that way. As it relates to things like nervous, yeah, it's a tick. It happens sometimes. But inconsistent and indecisive for me, you know, not so much. Not so much. But there are times when I know when I was younger, when I wasn't as evolved or not as centered in myself, that yes, I was indecisive. Yes, I was nervous a lot. Yes, I was not really consistent with a lot of things. And I learned as I grew older to hone that in. So the more mature of a person is, any of the negative traits, no matter what sign they are, they can not have to have those things because those are traits that a mature person generally knows about themselves. Evolve. Getting to know yourself. Living present. Once again, like I always say, living present is good so that you don't have to have these negative traits. Our likes as Geminis, we love learning, we love discovery, we love books, we love to talk, obviously. We love living life, we love traveling, we love hanging out with friends. Gemini is probably, out of all of the signs, the most sociable. We're the most sociable, social butterflies all over the place. If you look into a party and you see somebody just talking, maybe to strangers and probably dancing, maybe drinking, maybe acting a fool, maybe laughing, 9 times out of 10, that's a Gemini. That's somebody who is just able, people love, they're the life of the party, or they generally say, we're the life of the party. I tend to get invited to quite a few parties because everybody knows who invites me that I'm going to turn up. And by turn up, I don't mean act a fool, I mean just enjoy. I'm going to engage the people there. I'm going to have conversation. I'm going to literally get to know, you know, on a light, shallow surface sometimes, people, unless I want to go deeper, people who are at the party. I'm just going to have a good time. I'm not going to be a party pooper. There's no sense in all of us being boring, so somebody got to have fun, right? Anyway, so yeah, so Geminis are sociable. Our dislikes are being confined. We hate being alone. We don't like to be told what to do. We don't like to be kept out of the loop. When I tell you Geminis live in a constant state of FOMO, we live in a constant state of FOMO. FOMO, for those of you who don't know, is fear of missing out. And Geminis live there sometimes, most times, a lot of times. We want to be in the loop. We want to be involved. We want to have fun. We want to do our thing. So yeah, but we don't like to be alone. We're very social people, and we like to communicate. And so it means the world to us to have friends and significant others in our lives who are really just listeners, you know, who aren't trying to overrun the conversation, who really just find us interesting and just like to hear us, you know. And I've been fortunate to be in relationships, generally, with people who just are listeners, who just like to listen, and they know I'm going to be very, very turned up and fiery, and generally they're the opposite, which usually, you know, in my most healthy relationship, which is my current relationship, that works. That works most of the time. All right, so let's talk about a few Gemini celebrities that you may know and you may not know, but some of them are stereotypically Gemini. As far as men go, you have Kanye West, you have Donald Trump. Wait, scratch that. That ain't looking too good right about now. But if you look at both of those gentlemen, they are both stereotypical Geminis in certain ways. Not as evolved as they should be, but Geminis. Anyway, other one, let's try it again. You got Johnny Depp. You all know Johnny Depp, actor, Pirates of the Caribbean. Johnny Depp is quite a character. He's very charismatic. The ladies scream when they see him. He obviously knows how to act and to put on a show. He's done it for a long time in his life. I remember, I think his first movie was Nightmare on Elm Street, which is my favorite horror movie from back in the day, 1984. Robert Englund, Wes Craven directed it. Heather Langenkamp, who played Nancy, and Johnny Depp. And so he's been acting ever since then, and now he's like one of the biggest stars in the world. At one point, he was the most highest paid actor and considered the best looking in the world. So people love Johnny Depp. And you can see his Gemini-isms a lot. Because on one hand, he has this ability to turn it on and be public. But most of Johnny Depp's life, we really don't know about. He kind of lives in a recluse, secret thing. So that's the other coin of that Gemini that's allowing him to keep a lot of his stuff private. Tupac Shakur was a Gemini. And you kind of can get that too. Like, Tupac is that friend that you have. The rapper Tupac, for those of you who don't know, he wrote many songs. Dear Mama, Keep Your Head Up, Toss It Up. You know, Changes. Tupac, which is my favorite Tupac song. Tupac wrote many music, but he was a prolific poet and writer. But he had two sides, right? Tupac turned up quite a bit all the time. People liked to be around him. He was fun. He was engaging. He would get into a lot of trouble. And then there was a side of Tupac that was soft and gentle and protective and kind. And it was just why, you know, he was kind of like that rose that grew out of concrete, which is a poem he wrote. In many ways, that he had the thorns and thistles, but it was a beauty and a simpleness to him. So he was a quintessential Gemini man, especially, you know, on many ways. You like to hate him sometimes, but you can't help but like him. It was just like weird. And Gemini. I think he's in June. I think Johnny Depp's in June too. I'm not sure. June 4th is Tupac, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm June 6th, one of them. Anyway, John F. Kennedy. President John F. Kennedy. Yeah, Gemini. Gemini. I will say, you see it. Quintessential. He was very much charisma. He had the social ability, the ability to connect. And in that ability, he was able to come to prominence and people liked him. But obviously, he had a side to him that was unfaithful to his wife a lot. He was also a person who was, you know, he had his own character stuff that he dealt with as well. But he was a strong, competent leader when he needed to be. And that's the thing about a mutable sign, especially Gemini. When we need to be something, we can be what we need to be for the time in order to get the task done. And obviously, see, he married a Leo. And I know a lot about Gemini-Leo relationships because I'm in a Gemini-Leo relationship. And yes, we're highly compatible. But yes, we have our stuff, as everybody. But that's one of the highly compatible signs. And Jackie stood by his side, faithful, loyal Leo, stood by his side as her Gemini, John F. Kennedy, was sometimes, you know, inconsistent. And so, yeah, it was John F. Kennedy, a quintessential Gemini, right? A light, but had his stuff. As far as women goes, and there are many of them, Judy Garland, Gemini, and yes, she was one that wasn't evolved, but she was able to turn it on, right? When she go into actresses, as an actress, people knew her work, people seen her, she glowed, she shined, people were drawn into her, highly talented, highly adaptable, had her stuff. And a Gemini who's not evolved is going to have their stuff in their inner being. And I know what you guys are thinking, well, does he come on and he turns it on for us? Sometimes I do, and I can honestly admit that. And that's part of this channel, and part of me and my reasoning is just being authentic. When I'm not in a good one, I'm not in a good one. When I'm in a good one, I'm in a good one. And I'm well okay with sharing that and being the 100% authentic person I can be. Because I want to help my clients and help you and help people around me to be authentic. So yes, so sometimes I have to turn it on in order to keep it going. But I think that's a good trait unless you are ignoring the stuff that you have to turn on from. And that's when it gets to be toxic and traumatic and all kinds of other things. Another one, kind of sort of like Judy, Marilyn Monroe. Now, I just mentioned John F. Kennedy. When I mentioned about his inconsistencies, one of his inconsistencies was an affair with Miss Marilyn Monroe. Gorgeous, beautiful, well-liked person, you know, and she had energy and bubbly, and people were attracted to her, but like Judy Garland, she was not a fully evolved Gemini. She was still dealing with certain things that she hadn't dealt with, and she was able to just turn it off for the time being, and then when she went home, she dealt with it through drugs and unfortunately other things, right? But typical Gemini, that ability to turn it on and off, that ability to connect and to intrigue and to enlighten and to spark the moment and make people attract to us like moths to lights, just for a moment, and then turn it off. This is a very interesting dynamic. Angelina Jolie. To me, Angelina Jolie in many ways is kind of like the Johnny Depp version, female version of Johnny Depp, right? Beautiful, charismatic. There is a mystery in the eyes. There is a showmanship that is there. There is a strength that is there, but she is very reserved, right? I know that was a good comparison, right? Johnny Depp, Angelina Jolie. Could you imagine if those two ever dated? That would be something interesting. But anyway, they might not be compatible because of equal signs, and then again, they might be. I don't know. But this quietness, you know, this is my personal life from my public life, and I can put on the show for you, and I can be the court jester for you, and I can be the dazzling, beautiful actress that you need me to be, but I also have to keep my own. And that's very Gemini. We have our own, like I don't ever give 1,000% of me. I always give what I can give, and then I save some for me so I can strengthen it, so I can come back and give more. And it's fabulous. So Angelina Jolie is a perfect example of Gemini. You got Anne Frank. If you are a kid who went to high school, particularly in the United States, but I think in other places, you may have read a portion of Anne Frank's diary, if not the entire diary. The mere fact, we don't know much about Anne Frank because obviously we know what happened in that situation, but she was so thorough and she communicated so clearly in her journal, in her diary, what she was going through that it was published to become a book. And it became a book because of her Mercury communicative skills that allowed her to be able to discuss it, so we enjoy it now, we read it, and it gives us an insight of what Jewish people were going through in Poland during the Holocaust. So Anne Frank, very communicative. Lauryn Hill, you see it. To me, Lauryn Hill is the Kanye, female version of Kanye in many ways. She stirs up controversy. Now, she doesn't always say things all the time. Her controversy is her inconsistency, right? Lauryn will come have a concert scheduled and not show up. And if she does show up, she'll show up hours late. So you never know with the Lauryn Hill concert. You buy a ticket for a Lauryn Hill concert, and it's like rolling the dice in Vegas. You don't know what you're going to get. Will you get a stellar performance? Will you get her on time? Will you get her early? Will you get her late? Will you get her at all? Typical Gemini, but brilliant. A brilliant genius of a writer can articulate words and move people to move. It's phenomenal. Oddly enough, the Olsen twins are Geminis. Twins and Geminis have got to be really, really cool. But if you notice about them, they're public and then they turn it off. Right? They have public lives, their private lives are their private lives. Two sides. And then, of course, lastly, one of my favorite Geminis is Naomi Campbell. I love Naomi Campbell. You know, Naomi is beautiful. Naomi is strong and fierce and well public, but she's also, she has her distance, and she will snap and turn off onto the other Naomi really quickly if something goes wrong in her mind. She will click off and go to the other Naomi, and some people have met that other Naomi at some particular time. So all those people are Gemini, and you can kind of see the traits that I was talking about, you know, the inconsistent, the indecisive, or you can see the fun, the friendly, the social, the personable, you know, and the educated, the knowledgeable, the loving to learn and read, and all of these things. You can kind of see all of those traits in pretty much all those people I mentioned. And there's many, 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 many other Geminis that I could mention, and I could go on and on. This video could be an hour long. But, yeah, Gemini. And so, yes, It's Gemini season, and yes, I love being a Gemini. I wouldn't change it for the world. It's funny that whenever I tell people my birthday, or whenever I tell people I'm a Gemini, the face is like, oh, I mean, you crazy. Oh, I mean, you two-faced. And I think people confuse two-faced with just having the ability to alternate personalities. My alternate personalities are quite consistent. You know if I'm going to get mad at something. You know if I'm going to be in a good mood about something, because it's generally reactive. You know, I'm generally a reactive Gemini. You know, and like I said, that more than likely has something to do with the other stuff on my chart. But yes, I'm a Gemini. May 26th is my birthday, and I intend on enjoying my birthday in quarantine because it's another day of life. And for that simple fact, it's worth just a smile and a laugh and a good time even within myself. So I'm going to enjoy it as much as I can. And I want to wish a happy birthday to all my Gemini family. We are connected. You know how we share a mind, and like we're like all on one page in some weird way. Whenever you meet another Gemini, there's almost an instant connection of that telekinetic thing that we do. It's our thing. Sorry, other signs, you can hate. It's our thing. We have telekinesis with one another. But it makes us stronger, and we continue to light up the world. And it doesn't matter what your sign is, whether or not you're a Pisces, a Leo, a Aries, a Sagittarius, a Scorpio, a Taurus, a Cancer. What else is there? An Aquarius. I think that's pretty much all, though. A Libra, a Capricorn. No matter what your sign is, light up the world. Be the best you can be. Regardless of your sign, show up and be fully present and fully evolved, and know yourself and be proud of who you are, and stand up and just be bold, brave, and beautiful. I promise you, no matter what your sign are, you can make the world a better place around you. You can make the world a better place for other people. Continue to love yourself, continue to love each other, and of course, as I always say, I will see you all in the next video.